Hey everybody, Charlie here for your daily video update. Once again, this video is going to be a bit shorter, and they will always be a bit shorter since the last video was the original. Anyway, so what just happened, we actually went live a few hours ago concerning some severe weather in parts of our northern areas. Because we did get some severe weather. We actually had a pretty good amount of severe weather warnings over here and more out to the west. And the Storm Prediction Center, and before I get too ahead of myself, we actually had a tornado watch, and we had a couple tornadoes down here in southeastern Ohio, and that is still possible, as the tornado watch is still in effect down here. But we used to have a tornado watch up here, but it has since been canceled since the threat has significantly gone down after that storm disintegrated over Lake Erie. Our front, which is placed right here, but more likely somewhere over here, is still kicking. And we're still in the warm sector. Your day one risk, your updated Storm Prediction Center risk. So here's your slight risk. So the slight risk was maintained. However, it was gotten rid of, purged, if you will, for our northern areas, and now a marginal risk exists, which was what I was kind of talking about. I do think this is a bit of an abbreviation, though. Now, if we overlay the radar, you can see why the slight risk was maintained. You can see exactly why the slight risk was maintained. These little supercells, these semi-discrete supercells, and maybe many line segments, if you will, currently ongoing in your most discrete supercells over here in Pennsylvania. That's why your slight risk was issued. So, for our area, if we zoom in a bit, once again, this is why I think it's a bit of an over-abbreviation, is because most of this, so if you look right here near the Canton area, the Canton area right now is actually really only getting this heavy rain, light, moderate to heavy rain. So if you look right here, this is just your rain, and this is actually funneling northeast. This actually might develop into a flooding threat. We've already had a couple inches over here. There's already a flood advisory. With this on the way, we actually might be in a developing flooding threat. So that is something to watch. But anyways, for the short term, once again, here is your marginal risk. Kind of depict it right here. Obviously, here's your slight risk. So once again, in your slight risk, your heavier DBZ is currently in that. And so this is kind of going a bit northeast. So it's just going to ride along. So these storms will somewhat, ride along the slight risk. So that is why they are concerned about these supercells riding along this line. The issue is to my knowledge, let's just verify before I start saying that. Let's see the current weather alerts right now. What are the current alerts? And there is no. The only severe thunderstorm is in Pennsylvania. But look at this. All of this, not even SWS. This is just general thunderstorm. See, that's the issue. That's the issue, my friends. This is just general thunderstorm crap. And if we try to look at the current meso-analysis of risk, this is my site that I made. Once again, it's free. So you can see, if we zoom in here, that there is around 100, only one, for our region, excluding along the lake, there's only around 100 mixed layered CAPE. So this is your mean amount of CAPE in the atmosphere is only 100, which is poor. It's very low capped. Not low capped. It's just a very poor thermodynamic environment. 250 line over here. So I'm thinking no wonder these things are general is because there's no instability. Now we can look at surface-based CAPE, which is only two, which is widespread 100 and a pocket of 250. But even that is pretty weak. Now, we did have low cape. We had like a 500 cape earlier with that strong shear, but this is pretty low cape than what we had earlier. Now, if we look at the LCL height, it is pretty, yeah, it's okay. I just want to look at that for just a second. If you look at your effective bulk shear is still here. We still have like 40 to 60 knots of bulk shear, which is that is pretty good for supercells. So that is pretty primed for supercellular convection. If you look at your effective storm, here's the thing: your effective storm relative velocity, it's there, but it has really gone down. So I do think that your tornado risk has lowered a bit because your SRH has gone down considerably. But it is still here, so the tornado risk definitely is still there because there is still a lot of shear in the atmosphere. Your surface to 1 kilometer SRH is a bit better, but definitely weaker than what we've had. The low level jet, the max, the jet max is passing. It's effectively leaving our area. So that your jet max is effectively leaving our area. Now, we still have a low level jet, 45 knot, a 50 knot low level jet in our area, which is still very supportive. So we still have a low level jet. And look at your upper atmosphere, we're still in that area, we're still in a good force. So the forcing is still pretty good. We actually have some divergence right now. And actually, we can overlap that. So right now, it looks like your target area right now is these cells in central southwest Ohio. You have, in the red, you have 850 millibar convergence. And in the purple, you have 250 millibar divergence. So we have upper level divergence in the purple and lower level convergence in the red. And where that maxes out is really where you have a lot of your, lift. You're forcing for ascent almost. This is where your lift is, essentially. And your lift is pretty maximized right where that line segment is, right here in, right here. Here's the issue. It's not even severe warned. And if I click on the Wilmington radar, yeah, so it's very stormy. Not too much lightning, but it is still a storm. I'm a little bit surprised it's not even SWS, which means special weather statement. But that just means that the National Weather Service in Wilmington has yet to find a reason why this would be a strong thunderstorm complex. It could be later on, but I just want to let you know that even in the most forcing area, if you will, so even in your most lifting area, if you will, subsevere. So that's why I'm kind of a little bit iffy on the whole, slight risk thing. But either way, still remember that scattered severe weather is possible in parts of these regions. Now, moving on, we're going to use Weatherfront for this. So this is Weatherfront. We use this today for our analysis radar. And now we're going to use it to look at the future. 6 p.m. today, once again, it has those scattered storms, some potentially strong, and maybe even locally severe. Once again, in your slight risk areas, you're going to want to watch out for this, for that all hazard threat, that marginal to slight all hazard threat. Wind is your main threat. This should all move out of the region by around 8 to 9 p.m. And then once again, we do have potentially what could be some mixed precipitation showers. Maybe even some light lake effect snow showers, potentially. More confidence in New York. And through the morning, once again, that snow risk will persist. You could have widespread light lake effect snow across our snow belts. No significant accumulation. This model has snow throughout the day. Now here's where you're going to want to watch. So there will be a clipper system, a very strong clipper system, Friday, that will kind of go near our region. It's going to bring this band of snow right to our region. But also you can kind of see, you see how these black lines are very kind of, you know, tight next to each other. That's your pressure gradients. And when you have these tight pressure gradients, you can get elevated wind gusts. So this is pretty elevated wind gusts. This has wind gusts around starting potentially, you know, 5 a.m. Friday. We could potentially have, you know, 25 to 35 miles per hour wind gusts, but west of us could have upwards of 50 mile per hour wind gusts. Then later in the day, it goes over our area, and we could have potentially have spots, you know, 55 mile per hour wind gusts. So locally. So our outlook currently, there is no alerts by the National Weather Service. That may change tomorrow. But as of right now, the current expectation is Friday, from the early morning to the afternoon. Wind gusts ranging from 35 to 55 miles per hour possible. I do expect, especially if this trend continues, I do expect wind advisories at least to be issued, maybe even high wind warnings for the western part of Ohio. Can't rule it out. Can't rule it out, especially if you live along the lake. So let's look further. So this is the European model, which is a global model that I like to use. So let's get out of today. Once again, this rain of bands should leave us around 8 p.m. 9 to 8 p.m. 8 to 9 p.m. is when these scattered storms, isolated as scattered storms, should leave, with the potential for some lake effect snow into Thursday. Friday, that clipper system comes through with some snow. Too early to tell on how intense that snow is. Some models actually give us potentially a snow squall, which I have not heard in a while. Seen and heard in a while, but I doubt it at the moment. Once again, this model still has your tight pressure gradient, which would elevate your wind gusts. After that, we may get some snow may pass to the south of us. Nothing accumulating from that in the Saturday. Sunday to Monday, we could be looking at some rain and thunderstorms. So it's maybe some initial snow late Saturday, and then Sunday we could be looking at some rain and thunderstorms. Too early to tell on your severe weather risk. But this is a pretty good signal, pretty good front. Some thunderstorms I think actually could very well be in my forecast. Sunday to Monday. And maybe some oh boy, yeah, this model actually has the return of good old Lake Erie snowfall. Lake Erie and Lake Michigan lake effect snow. Into Tuesday. Personally, I think 4 days out is my max forecasting, because even 2 days out can be so, you never know. So that's my future forecast, is that we're probably going to get some snow into Thursday and to Friday. Friday we could get some light to moderate snow and wind gusts from 35 to 55 miles per hour. More west you are from Ohio, the more likelihood you are to see those elevated wind gusts. And then we should take a break into Saturday. Then late Saturday into Sunday, we could get some more light snow. And then maybe into Monday, we could get some rain, maybe even heavy rain, and maybe some thunderstorms. Severe risk, way too early to tell. Then after that, we may return some good old lake effect snow. But once again, it's way too early to tell on that. So that's your future. And that is all that I have for you guys. So that's all I have for you guys. I mean, I made this video a little bit too long, but I promise you they're going to be getting shorter. I just needed to talk about the what happened today. Stay weather aware, especially if you are in any risk area from the Storm Prediction Center. If need be, I'll make a video, and if I need to make a live stream, I will. So please stay tuned. It all depends on what Mother Nature wants to do. So thank you guys. You guys have a great rest of your day. Stay tuned. I'll be updating you on everything that happens. I'll see you next video. So if I don't see you tonight, I'll see you tomorrow in our next video. Be safe.